God, my knees look like bright red. I know, I said I wasn't gonna make any more videos talking about relationships. And I'm not. This one, like, it doesn't count. It literally doesn't count. Because none of these relationships that I'm gonna be talking about in this video were even remotely real when it all comes down to it. And you'll hopefully see what I mean by that as we get on with the video. So as most of you guys know, the internet has been a very large part of my life pretty much forever. I was in and out of school all the time because of my health issues, so socializing and making a whole bunch of friends was very, very, very difficult for me. Especially in middle school, around this time is when I was out of school the most and I was pretty much always homeschooled. I really think that this is what caused me to really turn to the internet. So, one fateful day, a couple friends of mine introduced me to this glorious, glorious website that would soon ruin my life. It was called WeWorld. If you're familiar with Club Penguin, you'll kind of, you know, it was a lot like that. I don't think it was made for kids older than Club Penguin, but like, I feel like slightly like more teenage age used WeWorld. But they could have all been lying about their age now that I think about it, because I was. I definitely was. Basically, like, you would make a little cartoon avatar and you would have your own little profile with like a bio and all this stuff, which, by the way, your fucking bio was so important, like crucial. I would spend hours writing my fucking bio. Like, it's not like, it wasn't like a bio like we have now. There was no character limit on these bios. You could go on, and there was like an option to go into like the world and chat with people, like your little avatar. It was like you controlled your little avatar and you could like hop around and like talk to people. So at first this was just a fun little thing that my friends and I would mess around with and just, you know, laugh about, giggle like some friends. But soon enough, they completely lost interest. And in normal Taylor fashion, I was completely immersed in this new virtual world that I had discovered. I was in so fucking deep. It's sad. I made so many different accounts. Like, I would like rotate between them and like live all these different lives. Like, when I would get bored with one, I would go to another one. And like, I'm just now remembering that. That's kind of weird. But like, I literally was living a whole separate life on this website. I had a whole different set of friends. So this video is gonna be about the boyfriends that I had on this website that kind of ruined my life. Oh, side note before we get into this, I also want to mention that this website, WeWorld, is what introduced me to the whole emo culture and emo music and the style. This is where I got it from. Everyone on this website was like emo or scene or goth. I don't know, something about it just made everyone bring out the emo. Anyway, the first boyfriend that I had on this website, or that I can remember at least, was named Jake. Now, I'm not going to use fake names for this video because they're all already fake names. These people weren't real. They were all catfishes. Like, thinking about it now is like, it was so fucking obvious that they were not who they said they were. Because this was back before catfishing was like a thing. Like, it happened, but like, it wasn't like known. The TV show, the movie, none of that had come out yet. And honestly, I didn't really care because I knew that I wasn't gonna meet these people in person ever anyway. So anyway, the first boyfriend that I had, it was so romantic. We met in the world, in one of the chat rooms. I hopped my little ass over and he was standing with another girl, but they weren't dating, they were friends. We started talking. I literally think we like started flirting on the spot. Keep in mind, I think I was like 12. Then things just flourished from there, and I don't remember the details, but next thing I knew, we were official, and it was all fine and dandy. It was great though. We would go on dates, you know, we'd go get ice cream. We would go to the park all the time. But wait, Taylor, I thought you said you never met them in real life. You know, how did you go on dates and go to the park and get ice cream together? Well, little child that never socialized. on the internet before? There's a thing that we used to do. You know, we joke about it on Twitter now with the little asterisks, and then we'll say like an action like asterisk shits pants asterisk. You know what I mean? It was like that, but on crack. Literally, and I'm not kidding, it would be like, you look beautiful today, asterisk. I slowly move closer and look you in the eyes. Asterisk, asterisk, we get in the car and I hold your hand as my other hand is on the steering wheel and we pull into the parking lot of the ice cream parlor and we get out and walk, like literally like that, like writing stories to each other. I don't know, but it was fun. It was weird as hell, but harmless, I guess, as long as it didn't go, you know. So yeah, we went on our virtual dates. Everything was fantastic. I literally don't know how long we were together. Oh, it's also important to mention that I lied to him about my age. I was about 12 years old and I told him that I was 14 turning 15 because I think he was 15. You know, this is all fucking alleged. Like, these people weren't real. Like, I still don't know who this was. He's the only one that I never actually talked on the phone with. And I only ever saw one picture of him. It all came crashing down one day. You know, the guilt hit me and I was like, I've been lying to him this entire time. I need to tell him the truth about my age. So I finally decided to admit to him that I was indeed a fetus. And it didn't end badly, but it didn't end well at all. He basically told me that it's okay, but he thought it would be better if we just stayed friends. So then it was just me, Jake, and this other girl. I do think the girl was real because we all ended up adding each other on Facebook. He only had one picture and she had like a whole legitimate profile. And so the three of us just went to just the three of us being friends. And then eventually he started dating her. So, and I'm not even like kidding you, I was so upset by this breakup. Like it literally felt like my first heartbreak / breakup. Like I was fucked up over this for like a couple days at least. And then eventually I just never talked to him again. So that was that one. The second one, it's Halloween as I'm filming this right now. So the second one that I'm gonna talk about wasn't actually a boyfriend of mine, just a really, really close friend. Well, as close as you can be when you don't even actually know who they are. And this one I actually have more like evidence that this was definitely a catfish. So his name was Shane. That was his real name. He was gay, and when we met, he had a boyfriend on the website. We ended up becoming like best friends. We talked every single day. We exchanged phone numbers. We started texting. We just talked all the time. We became really, really close. One thing I remember about Shane is that he was very emotionally unstable. He had a lot of, I think, emotional or, you know, mental issues. I'm not saying that to be like shitty. I'm like just saying that to kind of give you more of an idea of who he was. So a lot of the times it was me trying to like console him or talk him down because he would get really, really worked up about things and hate himself and all this kind of stuff. So I tried like being there for him and all this bullshit. And he had sent me pictures before of himself, and they were of like this emo boy, swoopy hair, and like the bright colored band tees, and what you would imagine as a scene emo boy was the pictures that he sent me. Now, the order in which I'm going to tell you these next few events might not be accurate, but it doesn't really matter. One of the weirdest things that kind of was a red flag for me was, for some reason, back then, the way that we would like share pictures of ourselves was like via a link to a website that we would have uploaded the pictures to. We would do it that way. I don't know why. I think it was like Photo Bucket. I think that's what it was called. So I remember one day he sent me some pictures of himself, or a link to some pictures of himself. There was like a patterned background like on the page of the website that the pictures were on, and it was like a black background with like a bright neon colored paint splatters on it. And at the time, the wallpaper on my phone was that same pattern. So he sent me the link, and I was like, oh hey, that's the same pattern as on the wallpaper on my phone. And I don't think he really understood what I meant by that. So he was like, what do you mean? That's me. Those are pictures of me. And I was like, no, the paint splatter thing, like that's my lock screen on my phone. And he was like, oh, okay. Like, he got mad. So like that was a little bit weird, but I was just like, whatever. And then we finally talked on the phone for the first time. And before we talked on the phone, he kept telling me like, people always make fun of my voice. They say I sound like a girl. And keep in mind, at the time, we were like 12 and 13 and like young. So a lot of boys still had pretty high pitched voices. So I was like, it's fine. Like, you're not the only boy with a high voice, I'm sure. Like, I know plenty of them. So I eventually convinced him to get on the phone with me. And I remember answering for the first time, being like, hello. And then there was like nothing. And then I heard a voice go like, hello? And I seriously didn't think anything of it because, like I said, we were young. So we would talk like normal all the time, just have regular conversations. And then he started telling me about this girl who was his real life best friend. But I remember one time he sent me a picture of her and was like, oh, she keeps telling me how ugly she is. Like, do you think she's ugly? Can you just like tell me if you think she's ugly or pretty? Like, she just won't believe me when I tell her she's pretty. And I was like, yeah, she's pretty. Like, obviously. He's like, okay, thanks, like, I'll tell her. And I didn't think anything of this until one day. At the time I was texting Shane, he said that he was hanging out with two friends that were dating each other, and he felt like the third wheel. I don't know how I remember that specific part, but I just do, because this is when it really kind of started to click in my head that like he wasn't who he said he was. And I forget exactly how, but I found this girl's Facebook profile, or some profile of hers online, and she had posted a status update that said, oh, I feel like such a third wheel right now. I'm hanging out with my two friends that are dating, and I just feel like the third wheel, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, that wasn't exactly what it said, but it was to that effect. And I was like, interesting. So I texted Shane about this, and he got pissed. And I don't know if this was this girl's real name, so I'm gonna say like Kara was her name. So you think I'm Kara? Well, I mean, it's just weird that like you text me about that, and then she posts the same exact thing on her Facebook. I don't remember what he said exactly, but he just got mad and was like, yeah, I think she hung out with them another time, or some bullshit like that. And I was like, okay. Like my usual gullible ass. Like, I'm so anti-confrontation. That's not true. I am very confrontational, but I don't like conflict. So like, I will avoid it at any cost. And I was just like, whatever, okay, fine. You're not Kara. And as time went on, I kind of think we just drifted apart. Like there was no like, oh, we're not gonna be friends anymore. But we were friends for a while, and then we just stopped talking. And then one day, after we hadn't talked for like months, I randomly texted him just to be like, hey, how are you doing? He sent me a picture, and he was like, oh, here's a picture of me and Kara. And it was a picture of the girl and this super tall blonde kid. I get it, you know, his hair could be different, right? You know, he grew out of the emo shit. I had also grown out of the emo shit by that point. But he just looked nothing like the little emo boy in the pictures that had been sent to me before. So I came to the conclusion eventually that Shane was never real. It was always this Kara girl that was just pretending to be a gay teenage boy on this website. So this was another boyfriend, and his name was Justin. And this one is kind of similar to the Shane one, so, and you'll see why. I don't really think I have as many details for this one as the other two. I think it's because I blacked this one out the most because it was so fucked up. The main thing that I remember about him was that he was very much like overly sexual. So that was always like a thing. It's funny because he made me that uncomfortable, but I was still like, you're my boyfriend. So I kind of put up with it for a long time. And a lot like the Shane situation, Justin and I started eventually talking on the phone. And just like Shane, little Justin had a extremely girlish voice. I don't remember if Justin like ever mentioned that he was insecure about his voice like Shane had. I was like, he probably just hasn't developed yet. You know, I'm not one to judge. As time went on, Justin got more and more, not really possessive, but obsessive, kind of clingy. And it wasn't like an insecurity type of clingy. It was almost like he was trying to annoy the shit out of me. If I didn't text back within a few minutes, he would blow up my phone. He would call like over and over and over again. And like he started to get like super sexual, like I said, but like he would ask for like pictures, which I obviously never sent. And one thing that I'll like never forget is we were on the phone one time and he was telling me, it was a girl, okay? It had to have been a girl. This one doesn't have like an ending like the Shane one did where like I found pictures and stuff. I literally think he sent me one picture and that was it, Justin did. This had to have been a girl because we were talking on the phone one time. This is what I mean by this person was weird and weird as fuck and like kind of gross. We were talking on the phone one time and he was telling me that he was helping his little sister because she just got her period. While he was on the phone, he was like helping her like clean up and shit. What is going on in this story? What I noticed though was that I didn't hear anyone else in the background. I was like, if there was someone else there with you, like don't you think I would hear them? Also, I had stopped lying about my age. The only time I ever lied about my age was the first kid. So I knew we were around the same age, I think. Actually, no. I just remembered. I think I was like 13 and he was like 17 or something like that. Ooh. So that was weird. Like I didn't hear anything in the background. But what made it like really fucked up was that Justin then proceeded to send me a photo of some bloody underwear. I shit you not. Like, I can't make this up. I literally can't. What I really think happened was that it was a girl and she was on her period and she was like cleaning herself up, and because this person is fucking weird as hell, thought it would be hilarious to like send me a picture of it. So this all came to a crumbling end when this person just like wouldn't leave me alone. Like I started to kind of pull back because I think I like said I didn't want to date them anymore. They just like wouldn't leave me alone, blew up my phone constantly. And that was the first time I ever had to block someone's phone number. I remember like I didn't know how to do it, so I had to like ask my dad, and that was awkward. Speaking of, I don't think he knows about any of this stuff, so hi. So yeah guys, those were the sad, fucked up, twisted, weird, scary stories of my first experience with online dating, I guess you could say. If you take anything away from this video, just be careful. I was dumb, and this was, again, before all the catfish stuff was relevant, so like it wasn't really in my head. I feel like now people are a little bit more aware. Let me know in the comments if you've ever used WeWorlds. I would love to, you know, not feel alone here. So yeah, give this video a thumbs up if you like these types of videos. Subscribe if you feel like it, if you haven't already. Thank you for reliving these traumatic memories with me, and I will see you in my next video. Love you, bye!